Hey GRD122W1 Graphic Design 2, just wanted to clarify something here. So this is another addendum video as I'm going through some of my videos in editing, and I usually like to keep in things where I run into problems, but I also like to go back and hopefully fix the problems for you so you don't repeat them. And one thing I just wanted to kind of focus on was the issue I was having with blurring the pop dots selection in the channels and also filling. So I just want to go over this again. I just want to show you I have no layer selected, none selected. I clicked off of here, no layer selected, and I'm going to go into channels and I'm just going to add a new channel down here, and it's called Alpha 3. And let's just say I'm going to make a big giant circle on it and move it around or whatever. And then what I should be able to do is just Option Delete, and Option Delete should do a foreground color of white. Let me do Option Delete, and that works fine. And then what I should do is always deselect a selection, especially if you're going to blur it. Most especially if you're going to blur it, because then it won't blur outside the lines or the edges that you have there. So I'm going to do Select, Deselect. Okay, so now I just have a white circle on a channel. And now if I go to blur it, I want to blur this thing. If I go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, I was having this problem. The palette doesn't come up. And this is the issue where if you want to run a filter, any filter, even if it's on a channel, you have to have a layer selected. So I'm just going to go down here and select the lowest layer, and it's just my orange background, and then go back to channels, and I'll click on here again so it's just that channel selected. All these other ones are turned off. And then I could go here and do Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and it should work. And there's my palette, and I'll just bring it up here, and that looks fine. And then I could do all that stuff. And just to repeat the stuff, some of the stuff we did was Image, Adjustments, Invert, and then we run the Color Halftone filter, and I should be still on a layer. So there it is, I'm still on a layer, but I'm still on this channel. So now I'm going to go to Filter, Pixelate, Color Halftone, and remember this one is where I put all these things at 45, 45, 45, and I slide this thing up nice and big so it looks something like that. And then I hit OK. And we don't want black circles, we want white circles. So once again, I have to go to Image, Adjustments, and go down to Invert, and now I have white circles on a black background. And then I'm done with that. And if you want to activate it so it's a selection that you can fill, you can go here when I'm on that channel and activate it, and then I could just go back to RGB, and there you see it's activated. Then you could do whatever you want. Then you could go on layers here, and I can make a new layer and call it, you know, practice dots, just because I'm not really putting these on here, but I'm doing practice dots, and then you could fill it. So you have a selection, so you should be able to just go fill it, Option Delete. You could pick a color here. Maybe I'll make it pink. I'll make light pink dots. I'll hit OK. Now I should be able to do Option Delete. And remember, Option Delete is a shortcut for Edit Fill Foreground. So that should do the foreground color, and I'll hit OK. And there it filled the foreground color. And again, whenever you have a selection like that, do Command D. That's the same as doing Deselect. And now I have dots in the background that are pink, and I can make them really big. I'm not on them, so let me get on them. And I could go back and I can make them really big, and there's pink dots in the background if I want. I can make them really small if I want. There's pink dots. I could put pink dots behind a shirt if I want. There's pink dots behind a shirt. Whatever. So I just want to point that out. So I'm going to delete this, but I just wanted to point that out, that when you run filters, make sure you're on a layer. And when you're filling channels and things like that, filling a selection, I'm not sure what happened, but you shouldn't have an issue doing that. You should only have an issue. You shouldn't have to be on a layer when you're filling it. So to get off any layers, matter of fact, you probably don't want to be on a layer. Layers, just click over here so you don't have anything selected. So again, I'll go here, I'll go to layers, I'll just click here so nothing's selected. So then any channel you make, let's just try it one more time. Make one new channel. There it is. I'm just going to go take a lasso and just make some weird little kind of thing like that. There it is. There's my selection. Now I should be able to fill it with white. So I'll go down here, reset it to black and white, then switch these so they're white and black, and then I should be able to do Option Delete. Perfect. Then I would do Command D, And then I should be able to do filter blur, or should I? No, why not? Because I don't have any layers selected. Then I should go down here and select a layer, then go back to here, then I should be able to run any kind of filter I want on here. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur, increase. And again, we do that blur so that it makes smaller dots to bigger dots. So that's the only reason I'm mentioning that. Go to invert, image adjustments, invert. Then we run the filter, pixelate, color halftone, 45, 45, 45, 45, increase that. Now we have a cool little pop dots thing, and the last thing we always do is go image adjustments, invert. So now we have that available whenever we want to load it as a selection, which uses this tool. So just wanted to make one extra video here, since I'm sure you're hoping for more videos. That way you can load this as a selection and then go back here and make a layer and do whatever you want and just fill it. So you're just filling this selection with a color. Then you can use all those effects and anything you want to change it. So just wanted to point that out. Make sure whatever you do anything on layers, you always go back to RGB. So it's loaded as a selection now, all ready for me to go, but I'm not going to go through it one more time, so you get the idea. So again, when you use filters, make sure you're on a layer and make sure it's a bottom layer, but filling with white any selection shouldn't be an issue. So I'm not sure exactly what happened as I was recording the video when I had the problem with the text thing. I probably shouldn't have been on a layer. So make sure when you're filling things in channels with colors, don't go anywhere here, because maybe it's trying to fill a layer. That's probably what happened. So just wanted to point that out. And another addendum video for the pop dots.